So this is a copyrighted PDF. I'm just sharing this for technical teaching purposes, basically for myself, really, too. This guy, Eric Lindman, has several patents for his Sinful orchestra. But I just happen to notice, reading a little bit more about the technology, the key technology behind it is this reconstructive phrase modeling, which is the so-called RPM modeling. So, but what I noticed is I've been trying to wrap my head around the construction of sound for the purposes of the hybrid guitar synth instrument, the clavtar, the syntar, whatever, the next generation of the lead sound. And it seems like this kind of engine would also be on the same line, the same path as that. What he's looking at is the actual significant portions of sounds and then reconstituting them, and he's doing it here by splicing and using additive harmonic synthesis, mixing those elements, and then your final output. And he has like these concept of predictive algorithms. Now, he's actually executed all of this, which is incredible. And he has 3 patents that I know of for this instrument, the Sinful instrument. And so his idea was to create something that would like organically transition. So he also included, besides the actual fundamental of the sound, the portions that are significant in sustaining the sound and how to keep it going in different ways. Like if you're sustaining versus, playing short sustains versus long sustains versus transitioning up and down sustains, all this kind of stuff. So there's like a wave swapping that's going on, and that would be the reconstructive part. And so the idea is he's looking at this in terms of the phrase, and I was looking at the whole system through the idea of the articulation. So he's kind of combined the idea of the articulation with the whole of the phrase, because the phrase is going to, of course, include the ideas behind, performing a certain way. So anyways, he's created a cool little way of mapping, like wave systems that create this modeling system, and then splice them together, which is this part here. So the splice is where the magic is going to happen for the engine. And I've thought this for a while, that sampling really doesn't go anywhere because it just takes on a new form. Because sampling is like the highest level of just how you can manipulate and work with audio, because you start with like an idea of some kind of, signature of a sound. And the signature is the sample. And whether it's an actual like PCM sample or some kind of model-based system that's based on vectors or whatever else, mathematical stuff, the idea is still to utilize this sampling, this ketone that then becomes, a morphable tone. Now, here's what's also funny. I'm obsessed with morphing synthesizers since 1990, 92, 93. And so this guy here writes about morphing in the engine itself. So Sinful is really something very cool and very special. And you could see how you could create a guitar-based hybrid synth system that's along the same pathway, where instead of worrying about creating samples of guitars, you're using the modeling building blocks to constitute how the sound forges itself, and potentially utilizing something like the reconstructive phrase modeling to create the different articulations. And what the beauty of the phrase, I guess, is that it's in a combo of different styles of playing. So it's not just one articulation. Whereas my idea to create the articulator instrument was basically to combine many kinds of timbre so that you could always have the ideal articulation, because the fundamental thing that people are hearing is the sample or the articulation or the way that something is being performed or played. And I guess you could word that different ways, but he's calling it a phrase, which is the combination of the articulation. But I'm calling it the articulation because when you want something to sound a certain very precise way, that's got to be, knowable. Oh, I want a sharp attack, or marcato, or double stop, or whatever, and you get an idea versus other concepts. But the phrase idea kind of blends the worlds of the transition, which I guess is what's critical. So in the simple, it does this very well, and it's a cool idea to inspire me to continue creating my synthesizer guitar hybrid concept instruments, because ultimately that's what you want, is the simplification or the option to make things very complex in the long term. And just designing these synthesizer guitars with already available instruments, there's already a huge amount of potential variety in the processing chain of the sound. So I'll leave it at that. But I just thought it was cool that people are just as obsessed with this stuff as I am, just worrying about different aspects of it. But, it's like the whole thing with reconstitution or reconstructing sound. For me, that's been a big deal for a very long time, because that's the critical part of like spectral sound design and spectral approaches to music. So you're grabbing from spectral stuff instead of grabbing from known, basic, regular sounds. Instead, you're grabbing from this weird realm of pieces from different parts of the spectrum to create the instrument. So anyways, cool ideas from this guy, well executed product, and he has it for free, available at his site for whatever reason. So amazing.